So our theme for today is Waterkloof around the world. And the best person to probably chat to about that is Louis Boutino, our international sales manager. Because currently in South Africa, we're not allowed to sell wine because of the government's legislation. So this has had, as everyone knows, quite a terrible effect on the South African wine industry. So we wanted to today just shine a bit of light on selling our wines overseas. And Louis is the one who will be able to give you all the background. So I'm just going to be asking Louis some questions. And then at the end, we're going to be asking some of our importers the question, I love Waterkloof, ... and they can fill in the blank. So the effect of COVID-19 has had a tremendous impact on the South African wine industry. But how would you say is the effect on the international business, Louis?
It's been a bit of a roller coaster, really. I think when they had the initial ban on alcohol in South Africa, that was the first ban. We set our minds very much to export, and we've always been a company that's been fairly strong in the export markets. And then they banned export even for 5.5 weeks. So yeah, that was probably the worst point from the export side of things, that we not only could we not sell wine in South Africa, but we couldn't export either. And since then, obviously the ban has been reintroduced in South Africa, but at least we can export. So for us, you know, I think from this COVID-19 situation, it's going to be big business, cash-rich business that comes out well from it. And in terms of wine sales, the most obvious sales channel when you think about large business, cash-rich businesses, are supermarkets. And so we had to really think about how we're going to adapt in the export market. And we don't work with supermarkets. So I think certainly at the beginning, most consumers in most markets, they were doing their shop and they were thinking about the easiest way to go shopping, and that's to do everything at once. And that means go to the supermarket. So we were, comparatively speaking, compared to bigger producers who work a lot with supermarkets, we started off in quite a negative position. We sell about 50% of our wines to restaurants and the other 50% to independent wine shops. So we lost all the restaurant business, and that's beginning to come back now as markets start to open up restaurants, but it won't be back anywhere near the same way for a good while. And then what's been great is people have come away from supermarkets a little bit, and they're realizing that if they don't support their local businesses, local independent wine merchants, butchers, whatever it may be, if they don't support those businesses, they're not going to be there in a year's time. So there's been a lot of negative, but also there's been this amazing positive that all of these customers around the world with whom we've built relationships over the years, many of whom have visited Waterkloof and seen what we do, we've really been able to engage with them very directly and proactively. And you've been a big part of that, Nadia and Christian, doing the videos that you've been doing on the farm. So there's definitely been a lot of negative, but there's been some real silver linings, and I'm hoping we're going to come through this stronger than we came into it eventually.
Yeah, definitely holding thumbs for that, eh? But it's so true what you say. Relationships and the fact that we're a family-owned business has really carried us through in that respect. And then, Louis, you've been in the industry for over 10 years, and how would you say has the sort of perspective on South African wines changed over the last 10 years?
Hugely. Yeah, so we started really focusing on exports when I joined the business 10 years ago. We were doing a little bit of export prior to that, but really we started properly then. And I remember when I first started, even in the markets that are more welcoming to South African wines, so the Western European markets like the UK, like the Netherlands, Germany, even then, even in those countries, it was really difficult selling premium South African wine. South Africa was seen as the cheap stuff. but you would rarely go to restaurants and see a large selection of South African wines, with wines by the glass from South Africa. If you went to all the fancy Michelin star restaurants in the major capitals of the world, the list of South African wines was minuscule. And that's really been the big change, that not only are the press writing very good things about South African wine, but the restaurants, the independent wine shops, the opinion leaders are really getting behind the wines, and the value is fantastic. So I think if you're offering a good product made in an artisanal way, and it's an authentic product, and the price is right, you've got a chance in this very, very competitive wine market that we're in. But yeah, it's been great to kind of see this evolution over the last 10 years to where South African wine is now. It obviously depends also what country you go to. Some countries are more welcoming than others. We've still got some work to do, but that's all part of the job. And I really think the increase in social media and engaging with customers directly online will be really beneficial to opening South Africa up to new markets around the world.
No, it's definitely a nice time to be a part of the South African wine industry, and there's such a diversity of different personalities, which is fantastic. So watch the space. And then something I've always wanted to ask you is, when you travel so much, what would be your most memorable places that you've been to? And are there any sort of famous people that have enjoyed our wines, if you can recall?
Yeah, well, I mean, I enjoy sports, so there's been some pretty cool places where the wines have been served. Places like Glen Eagles, the K Club in Ireland. So these are all golf courses that have hosted the Ryder Cup. The place where they hosted Dubai Desert Classic in Dubai. And then, yeah, in terms of favourite place to visit, I can't say that, because some of our customers might be watching, and I don't want to show any favoritism, but that's one of the great things about the job. You get to travel widely, and yeah, the wines have been in some cool places. We're one of the partners for Emirates, one of the key wine partners for Emirates Airlines, so we're fortunate to have had the wines in their economy class and their business class as well. Not so much at the moment, obviously, because there's not much flying going on. Yeah, so also some pretty cool festivals. I didn't get to go, but I know the wines were served at Tomorrowland, which has been voted the world's best dance festival for 5 years on the run. So we're down with the kids as well. We're not just highbrow wines here. And yeah, but unfortunately, again, Tomorrowland it's been cancelled this year, so we won't be supplying them this year. And yeah, in terms of any famous people that might have tasted the wines, I suppose the one that springs to mind is, I know that Barack Obama has drunk our wines in Scotland. So shout out to Woodwinters. I said I wouldn't mention any particular names, but Woodwinters in Scotland, they supplied the wines, and they served Circumstance Cabernet Sauvignon when he was there with his wife in Scotland. I'm a tennis fan, so I know Goran Ivanisevic, Wimbledon champion. He's drunk a few bottles of False Bay in the past. I know about that for sure. And then probably your favourite, Nadia, because you're a bit of a teeny bopper, aren't you, was Ronan Keating the other day on Instagram. So for those who don't know, an ex-boy band member, boy band called Boyzone, Ronan Keating put a picture of the Sanso, the Seriously Cool Sanso, and said nice drop, didn't he, the other week? You loved that.
I was thrilled about that, and we were reposting it the whole time, so it brings back memories, the Boyzone treffers. So, and tell me then, Louis, very importantly, in which countries are wines available, and are there any new countries in the pipeline that would be selling some of our wines?
I thought you were going to ask me this, so I put a list together this morning. So yeah, I mean, we've only been really exporting for around 10 years. So we're still trying to grow that, and hopefully we're going to grow it more. But at the moment, the count is 37 countries. Some of those countries only have the False Bay wines. Some of them only have the Waterkloof wines. But putting Waterkloof and False Bay vineyards together, we're in 37 countries. And the wines just arrived in Denmark last week. So that's especially at times like this, it's great to know your wine, you're getting more customers. And they've also just arrived in Germany as well. So in Denmark, they're available through Vineyards, and in Germany now with Waterkloof. And hopefully towards the end of the year, we'll be starting in Singapore. I'm trying to think if there's any others. We're starting in Uganda as well. So yeah, lots of green shoots there. And if anyone ever wants to find our wines, you can send us an email. So it's info@waterkloofwines.co.za. You can send us a direct message on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. That's @Waterkloof Wines. Or I don't like to give them too much advertising, but Google's a good place to look for a wine. So if you live in a country and you want to find one of our wines, it's worth just putting the name of the wine and putting the word buy next to it, and Google will usually be pretty helpful. But if it's not, you can always contact us directly, because we need you right now, guys. So yeah, please buy and drink South African wine.
Yeah, no, definitely. We need to support the South African wine industry. And if you do drink the wines, post it on social media and give us your feedback. And then Louis, you're quite a bit of a wine geek. So what would you describe as your best wine moment? It doesn't have to be Waterkloof. It could be a Romani Conti, or whichever you drink, have tasted.
Yeah, well, I like things that surprise you, and that that surprise you in a positive way, and wines that are great value for money, but also great quality, and that's not easy to find, and it's becoming more and more difficult. So I'll give you two: one with our wines, one without. One with our wines. It was about 3 years ago, and I was in a wine shop in the UK, and for some reason they had False Bay Slow Chenin Blanc, and they had a bottle of 2009, so it was 7-8 years old at that stage. I don't know why they hadn't managed to sell it, but anyway, they hadn't. That's life. So I thought I'd take it off their hands, just because I was curious and interested. So I bought the wine, I drank it, and it was really still drinking really well. So that was amazing, because we don't really keep, you'll know, Nadia, we keep our Waterkloof wines, we keep some of the vintages to see how they age, but we don't keep back vintages of False Bay. So that was an amazing surprise, because that's really our aim with False Bay, is to try and make wines that are quite serious and have real quality. But I never expected them to age so well. And then outside of that, it's a wine it's called Faustino, and it's a big huge Rioja brand, and you find it in all the supermarkets. They're one of the biggest producers in Rioja, so you might not think necessarily very quality driven. But I was on holiday in Mallorca, and I was in this little wine shop, and in the corner they had all these dusty old bottles, and apparently a gentleman had died down the road, and his wife had sort of brought all these wines into this shop, his old collection of wines, and said, look, can you sell them for me? And they were all retailing, all of them, no matter what they were, for 10 euros a bottle. And they had a bottle of 1964 Faustino, so very, very old wine. This was only about 8 or 9 years ago. And it cost 10 euros, and it was one of the best wines I've ever drunk. So that it makes it taste sweeter, doesn't it, when you find a little gem like that. So they're my most two memorable moments.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I always like a bargain, and something that just completely over delivers for its price. And that's the example of the False Bay Chenin is such a good example, because that wine, the way we make it, introducing oxygen during the course of the winemaking and leaving it for so long, it just ages so nicely. But yeah, so that's all the questions that I have. So if anyone has any questions for us, you're welcome to ask it on social media, on the Facebook or the Instagram platform, or you can contact us directly and we'll answer them. We'll be happy to answer them. Yeah, thank you so much, Louis. Let's hope this sells a bit more of wines.
Touch wood.
Yeah, touch wood. Thanks, we'll chat again soon then.
Okay, thanks Nadia, take care. Bye guys.
Bye.
Hi guys, I'm Kat.
I'm Steffi.
And we're joining you here from ZMMI.
In Zanzibar.
And this is the ultimate place to enjoy a gorgeous bottle of False Bay. I think it's a gorgeous wine. It's fantastically easy to drink. And in this view, who wouldn't?
Sitting by the pool, you can be on the beach, on a paddleboard,
anywhere. Honestly, it's perfect,
perfect.
for Zanzibar, and we love it because it's naturally made. They are very, very good at looking after the environment, good at looking after their people, and very good at making sure they make beautiful, beautiful wines.
Female winemaker.
Female winemaker, cheers to that. So we love the False Bay range. We think it's absolutely gorgeous, and we're going to be drinking more South African wines here in Zanzibar. And cheers to Waterkloof, cheers to False Bay, and cheers to Zanzibar.
Hello!
Hello. Hello. This is Daniel from Weinkontor Freund, and we just come from planting our own vines here and working on them in beautiful Bockertshausen. And I think we really need to get some horses like you do. I think it makes work much easier. We just started to work with Waterkloof. We're very happy about it, and we are much looking forward to the upcoming years to do something together here in Germany.
Yeah, my name is Piers, and I also love the Waterkloof wines in False Bay. My best greetings to South Africa and the team to Waterkloof.
Yes.
Perfect.
Good afternoon, I'm Don Bryant.
And I'm Richie Breen.
And we're from Magnum Wine & Spirits in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We're proud to represent False Bay and Waterkloof wines in Alberta. The depth and range of wines that they offer greatly enhances our portfolio.
From the founding principles established by Paul through Christian's efforts on the farm and Nadia's winemaking, Waterkloof represents a commitment to quality fine wine and the best in modern natural practices. At the end of the day, at the conclusion of all these efforts is always a beautifully presented bottle of outstanding wine.
False Bay and Waterkloof wines are as much of a pleasure to sell as they are to drink. They are amongst the best that South Africa has to offer the world, including Canada. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hello everybody, my name is Jorg Plauk. I'm one of the founders and owners of Vermont Wine Merchants. We're a distributor in this little corner of the northern part of the States here in New England, but we feel a real connection to the Cape Winelands and in particular to Waterkloof Winery. They're beautiful wines such as Seriously Cool Chenin. So you can see we've got a day, we're getting ready for a sundowner, and we think this will be the perfect wine. Have to let you know that here in Vermont we're a small state, but we have a community that's really committed to great viticulture, agriculture, natural approaches, organic practices, and we think there's a lot to resonate in these wines between all the work that Waterkloof does and the people who appreciate the wine here. So have a great day. Cheers.
Hi there, I'm Jeroen. I'm from Holland. I work for Koenekoop Wine Traders Company, and when I'm on the road, I always have a bottle of False Bay Syrah with me. My clients love it.
Hi, I'm James from the Wine Loft in Brixham in the UK, and I love False Bay and Circumstance wines. Mostly, they just taste good. But actually the customers love the story about sustainability, the biodynamic, the wild yeast fermenting. These are really easy wines to sell. They taste great, they've got a great story. They're some of our best sellers. We love it. Well done, Waterkloof.
My name is Daniel Speck from Family Wine Merchants in the Niagara Peninsula in Canada. And like the Boutineaus, my brothers and I who work together, our two families share some symmetries. The Boutineaus were wine merchants who became winemakers. My brothers and I are winemakers with Henry of Pelham Family Estate Winery, who became wine merchants with Family Wine Merchants. So we grow a lot of Riesling, and when we're not drinking Riesling, we're washing it all down with a little bit of the Circumstance, big juicy red from South Africa.
Hi there, I'm Abby.
Hi, and I'm Kate.
And we're from Boutonneau Wines.
So we're based in Manchester in the UK, and we're really lucky enough that we get to work with the wines from False Bay and from Waterkloof. For me, the False Bay wines, they offer, well, for one, they're just exceptional wines to begin with.
Yeah.
But the key for me is they offer great value for money, and my personal favourite is the Sanso Rosé.
But there's a lot of wines in the range, and my favourite is the Pinotage.
Yeah, which is gorgeous as well.
Yeah, my favourite white wine though is definitely the Waterkloof Sauvignon Blanc. It's such a true expression of a Stellenbosch Sauvignon.
It's really beautiful.
Delicious.
And another thing as well, they've got the amazing Nadia at the helm, doing it for the girls, for female winemakers.
Definitely. She's on a 10th vintage at the moment, and every single one is just amazing.
Amazing vintages. And for me as well, the fact that they take sustainability, their organic practices and biodynamic practices so seriously, which is super important, I think.
Yeah, definitely in today's climate.
Absolutely. So, cheers.